This is my Hyper 26-inch men's beach cruiser. I got it on Walmart's website for 148 plus tax. That was included shipping. And it's, as far as I can tell, a basic kind of bike. You know, doesn't have a bunch of gears, no front and rear cable brakes, just something simple. And that's what I wanted, something simple that's easy to put together, that I can cruise around in my neighborhood, nothing too fancy or expensive. So we're going to pull the parts out of the box, see what's inside the box. Hopefully it shouldn't take me too long to assemble this and test it out.
Oh, and before we get started, I want to point out there's a tools required list in the box. You can see right here it's nothing complicated, just basic hand tools.
And I'd also like to note the condition of this box. It's a little rough, some holes here and there. Handle was ripped and it was already open when I got it. So that was nice. Nice hole on this side as well. I've already looked inside and nothing looks damaged, but shipping, gotta love it. Here's a quick shot of how it's packed in the box. All nice and neat. Everything seems there. Appears to be all attached in one piece, so I'm gonna go get my cutters. All right, so here's everything that was in the box. Well, mostly, there's still that, but we'll get to that in a minute. Everything was held together with a bunch of zip ties and a little bit of tape. We got the handlebars, seat, front fender, pedals, front tire, instructions. There's this little plastic doohickey, which I'm not sure, what's for. I mean, what it could go for, but I'm sure it'll be relevant later. Oh, and this screw fell out. So, I know they tried to keep everything from being lost by attaching everything, but we'll see if this is relevant or just something that fell in the box. To be continued. And the chain's already on there. It looks like it's packaged relatively well. It should be a fairly easy install. Not quite as easy as that bike was. That thing was real fast to throw together. So, anyways, let's get started. Okay, the instructions start on page 14. I don't know why they have all this other blah 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 stuff before that. I just want to know how to put the bike together. I went ahead and jumped to page 23, do the front wheel, because I figure I want to get the front wheel on, get it on the ground, because the kickstand is already on there, so I want to get it on the ground and then I'll worry about the rest of the junk. Well, maybe I'll do the pedals real quick while it's up like this. But anyways, I want to get the front tire on and then put it on the ground. Now it's got these two little screws here, which are a 10 mil. So, you can use a Phillips with them too, but if you got tools, use the better tools. The pedals are a 15 millimeter wrench. You can use it adjustable if you want. I prefer to use the actual size. Wheel nuts are also 15 mil. Make sure you get the tang in the right hole. There's the other hole for the fender. Good news, bad news time. I figured out what that bolt was for. It's for the front fender, and it was supposed to have a nut. Luckily, the good news is I have a nut. It is a 6 mil by 1, well, the thread pitch. And I luckily had just one left in this pack when I bought one for another or something else long ago over on my junk wall. Anyways, the bad news is the fender doesn't line up. I don't know if you can see that too well. Now, you can possibly tweak it and bend it some, but upon trying to install the fender, I also noticed, you may notice that the wheel looks a little funny. Grab my tape measure. See, on this side, we got almost an inch. Go to the other side, and we got about ½ inch. So, I don't know what the deal is. I'm not a bike expert. The wheel appears to spin fine. I'll move that when it's not hitting the fender. So the wheel doesn't appear to wobble or nothing like that. The forks aren't obviously bent, but the wheel is obviously not centered. So I mean, it's I don't know if it's like, you know, cocked or whatnot. I mean, I know the studs are fully seated down in the slots, and the tabs are, you know, where they look the same on both sides. You can see right there. So I don't know what the deal is with that. I mean, maybe I'll just put together without the fender for now and figure that out later. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Oh, and that front wheel was torqued to 21 foot-pounds. That's why I got the torque wrench out. You can see right here in the instructions. 21 foot-pounds. Okay. Seems fine to me. Well, it's not wobbling crazy. If I can hold steady. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Okay, I loosened the wheel nuts off, both sides, you know, just enough, and it's straightened out. So I mean, you can see right here, it's closer to 3/4 on both sides. You know, a lot more even. Not perfect, but it's almost there. I tighten it back down, does the same thing. It cocks to the side again. So I don't know what the deal is here. I can see a little bit of a, I don't know if I can get a good shot of this, a little bit of a gap on this side, so I might throw a washer in there and see if that helps straighten it out when I tighten it down. Stay tuned. Found this random new washer on my hardware shelf over there, and it's about 59 thousandths thick, so we'll give it a shot. Fits over the stud nicely, you know, just a little loose, but if I get it on there, it's good enough. And we're just going to try and, you know, cram it in there, and it's a little thicker than I need, but I think the extra thickness will maybe, you know, cock the wheel just a little more where we want it to go. So let's give it a shot. Got that washer on there, and it's only finger tight, but it looks like it's cocked it already. So I'm going to go ahead and try it on the other side now. Okay, I tried the washer on the other side, flipped the wheel. I tried everything. Doesn't look like it's going to be a simple fix. I went inside and read, and it looks like this is sometimes an issue, and you have to deepen the slot. So I'm going to deepen the slot on the one side, see if I can, you know, straighten the wheel out. I'm assuming it's this side. You know, we'll see how that goes. Always something. Just aired up the compressor, and I'm going to start off with the stone, and we'll see if, you know, I can creep up on it, because I don't want to go too far, then I'll have to do the other side. But if I have to, I'll break out the carbide. I mean, we'll see. Basic tools, my... For the record, before I even started grinding on the fork, I already put the bike on the ground and then torqued it down. And it was not right. Now, I ground the slot some. I don't know if you can see the Sharpie there, the mark, right there where I was grinding mostly. I did go a little wide, so it's kind of moves a little. But don't got a nut on the other side either right now. You can see it's just sitting in there. And it is roughly the same on both sides, about 3/4. So it's even. I went ahead and put the nuts on there. Well, first I re-flattened the tab washers in my vise over there. I crushed them in the vise and re-flattened them. Then I put, you know, the nuts and, you know, locating tab washers on there. Tightened it down, snugged it good. It stayed even. Pulled the bike out of the box, set it on the ground, straddled it, put my weight on it. Went to torque them, and the wheel kicked over on me again. It just cammed out. You know, I don't know why this stud is camming out on me. I mean, to be honest, I haven't had a bike in over 20 years, so I don't know. I'm gonna try and figure this out, and I'll tell you what it is. Maybe I gotta creep on it, you know, just a little bit at a time, each side. I don't know. So I tried lightly strapping the wheel down. I just used a pull strap. I don't want to use a ratchet strap and, you know, bend the rim itself. that didn't work. I was looking at it, and what I noticed is the forks aren't really completely flush. Let me get that shot the other side. It'll be easier with this camera. The forks are not completely flush right next to the stud. You can see like right here, and the nut, grab one, is wide enough. It's, you know, hitting on this, and then it's, you know, more recessed over here up on the top. So I'm thinking it's like, you know, it's forcing the wheel out. It's not always going to the same direction all the time. Mostly the other side, you know, it's cocking the one way, but you know, I don't know. I mean, you look at the tab washers over here, and you can see where it's really cutting into the top of the washers. So what I'm going to try is I dug out these other washers. I think I'm going to try these thinner lock washers, and I'm going to put them on here because they fit in there decently, and then I'll put the tab washer on there, you know, after I crush it flat again in the vise. And we'll try that out. I mean, otherwise, I mean, I don't know what I'm going to do. I mean, am I going to have to weld the dang things on? Weld the wheel on? So let me give this a shot. Well, the split washers kind of worked. I still had to like pull the wheel over to the, you know, grab it and pull it and then tighten it down with the ratchet. And I had it so close. It was almost perfect, but it was just like a 1/16, you know, over that way. And I'm like, well, so I loosened them up and tried again a couple more times, and it got worse, and I got back to almost where I was, and then this happened. I broke the tab washer, so Amazon has them. I'm sure some bike shop has them, but with gas prices these days, I'm just going to order some from Amazon, and I'll pick this back up in a few days. I mean, this is just taking me entirely too long to put a freaking front tire on. So at this point, this bike is... And if you're wondering why I'm trying to fix it, it's because I bought it over the winter. I stuck it out here. I mean, I buy lots of things over the winter. I bought the stack of wheels, and now it's too late to return it. So I gotta fix it. It's gonna get fixed. I will weld the thing out if I have to. But I'm gonna try and do it right. I mean, I think while I'm waiting on those split washers, sorry, the tab washers, I'm going to try grinding this a little flatter maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I'm done for now though. The new tab washers are here, so hopefully time to finish this bike up. I got these off of Amazon for about $6, well, $5.99 plus tax for the pair, and they are size 10 millimeter for the stud and the wheel. And I think I'm going to try grinding the split washer that goes, I'm going to put under them instead of grinding the dropout fork, because I can easily replace this if I go too far. You know, it's the consumable. Anyways, before we mess with that, it was trash day, so I went ahead and threw out the box the other day. So I'm going to go ahead and finish assembling the bike, handlebars, and seat, so that way I can flip it over and put it on the bench to mess with that wheel. And to do that, I'm going to need to, well, first I'm going to start by attaching the fender. It's kind of already attached, but not really. You got to flip these out, pull that screw, and put it back in. It's just an 8 millimeter size socket. And same for the other side. And then for the seat, I just had to put this bar in and tighten both of these nuts, which are 14 mil. Then, you know, drop it in and use this latch thingy to tighten that down and set it the height I want. And for the handlebars, they are just a Allen stem bolt, which is 6 millimeter. Also, the bolt to adjust the handlebars is 6 millimeter. So let me get this thing together, and hopefully we can get the front wheel sorted out and go for a ride. Well, that was easy enough. It only took me a few minutes. But it doesn't look too bad. I kind of like the no front fender look, so you know, maybe we'll leave it off. I do want to point out there are some you know, blems or defects
You know, there's rubbing here and there, the paint's off in certain spots. So I mean, it's just, you know, it's a cheap bike. I mean, this badge thing is coming off, and there's decals all over this bike. I mean, I suppose I could spend some time with a heat gun and remove some of these stickers, but the seat feels comfy. I mean, it's got a, you know, I don't know if you noticed earlier, but it's got, you know, it's got springs or whatever, and nice and large seat. Handlebars are nice, and you know it's a nice laid back bike for just, you know, pedaling around. So I think this bike will work out, you know, good once I get the front wheel started out. Okay, I ground the washer a bunch more, thinned it out on the one side, flattened it a little on the end, and this should be the final fitting. I already tried it once with the old tab washer, wherever that is, over there, and pretty much measured right where I had it. You know, it was about 1/16 off the one side, so you know, I'm not sure this is the right way to fix it, but you know, it'll work good enough. The tab washer's on, and the nuts are torqued to 21 foot-pounds, and the wheel looks pretty dang even. I mean, a little better since I did that last little bit of grinding on the washer. You can see for yourself. About 3/4 there, and about 3/4 there. So I mean, I'm happy with the results. I mean, now all that's left to do is to decide if I want to put the front fender on, test this sucker out for a few days, and we'll wrap this video up. I couldn't resist. I went up and down the driveway a couple times tonight. I mean, it is late and dark out, so I mean, it's probably a good thing because the seat decided to self-adjust on me, and I almost lost it. I mean, I probably should have filmed that, but I'm kind of glad I did. You can see right here the front tire is, you know, tracking pretty good, so I think I got it good enough. You know, we'll see. Bonus clip. This thing, I don't know if it's because of the large handlebars that are, you know, maybe heavier, or because of that stupid kickstand, but sometimes I swear if you look at this thing funny, it'll fall over. I mean, my garage is always cluttered up, so I don't know how many times I've walked by this bike, barely brushed it, knocked it over. It must be at least 100 times in the past year. And one time I had a bunch of stuff set up on this table, and it bumped the table and knocked everything off the table and just made a huge mess and damaged some part. It was really annoying. So that's the one down thing to this bike. I really hate how easily it tips over. Well, it's been a few weeks. I wanted to give the bike a chance and ride it more than a few times before I wrap this video up. And so far, no real complaints. I mean, I went ahead and just threw the front fender on the other day because I know some people are going to want to see it on there, and I think I'm still going to take it back off. I mean, it is kind of flimsy, and I've had, like, you know, a piece of twig or rock, you know, I can hear it banging in there, and I just don't like it. I mean, I've actually kicked the back of it a couple times with my boot. So, I mean, I prefer it off, so that's going to come off for me. The seat, I had it reclined just the other day, I mean, one more time, so it came loose, and I thought I had it pretty tight, but I got it cranked down now. I didn't want to crank it down too hard because I know that's not that's not quality hardware. It's some cheap, you know, nut and stud or whatever. I mean, there's another one on the other side, and maybe I'll put a stronger one in there if it does it again, or, you know, it's just like, you know, it's got like, you know, teeth in here where it can be, you know, reclined, you know, either way. I may just put a tack weld on there to keep it in place, because that's where I want it. I don't think I need to adjust it anymore. Oh, and I almost forgot to point out that plastic piece that was in the bag earlier with the instructions. It goes right here on the stem bolt. So it's, you know, nice little cover, cleans it up nice. That's fine. It's, you know, it is what it is. It's a decent bike for about 150 bucks, and, you know, I'm happy with it.
course, initially I wasn't happy with it because of that issue with the front wheel, but now that that's straightened out, we're all good. Anyways, I hope you find this helpful. Thanks for watching. Keep it real.